I lost my sister, Mia, 11 years ago. She left behind her son Kai and her daughter Ella, both young children at the time. My sister was married to Luke, but when she became ill, she turned to the rest of the family and me to help her with their kids' inheritance. She asked that we buy her out of her share of the business our grandparents left us many years ago so that she could leave her kids money. So we did just that, allowing her to leave a sizable sum for both kids. It's enough to cover college for both and leave them with some money for something else. Or they could buy a house each. My sister just wanted them to have something real that could be there for them when she couldn't be. So she ended up leaving me in charge of the accounts for the kids. Luke met his current wife 2 years after my sister died, married her within 6 months, and added 5 more kids over the following 3 years. They've struggled over the years. One of his stepchildren has physical health issues, and another has special needs and requires a lot of therapies. Money is often tight. We've been made aware of this by him over the years. He didn't know about the money until he read the letter my sister left for him, which informed him of the existence of the money. Ever since he learned of it 18 months ago, he's been determined to get his hands on it. He's accused me of letting my nephew and niece starve when I could have dipped into the account, which I can't and which I didn't. They never starved. He said I was dividing his family and so on. He told me that the money needs to be split 7 ways, that Mia was selfish to keep the money from his reach so he couldn't use it on all of his kids. He said it was selfish of her to come between his family after she died, since he had been a loyal husband to her. One of his stepchildren missed out on an opportunity due to a lack of money. He tried to get my niece and nephew to ask me for money for their step-sibling to do it, but the kids said in front of him that they wanted to keep the money in the account, which angered him. He told me I didn't have the right to do this, that his kids' money should be accessible by him, their father. I told him that the money my sister left for their children is nothing to do with him, that my sister made it so, and he needed to act like it didn't exist, since it didn't exist for anyone but my nephew and niece. Let's say he wasn't happy. Am I the idiot for what I said? Not the idiot. I'm gobsmacked. He thinks their inheritance should go to children that aren't their mothers? Your sister was brilliant in putting you in charge of the money. She knows who to trust. I'm happy those kids have you looking out for them. Are you saying that Luke didn't see a copy of his wife's will and had no part in settling her estate? Did he find it from a secret letter? I find it very strange that your sister would not discuss her estate plan or large financial transactions with her husband, and that all of this happened without him knowing about it. Maybe I'm misunderstanding and they were divorced before she died. Or perhaps she knew her husband well enough that she intuited that something like this might happen, that he would try to get the money left for her kids and only for her kids. It is telling that the sister didn't trust Luke to be responsible with his own children's money. Whatever his deal is, it didn't start with his second marriage. I understand why the former brother-in-law is frustrated and angry, since that money would make his life easier, but that shouldn't come at the expense of his first 2 children. Children shouldn't be responsible for supporting their families financially, and taking their inheritance is just another form of that. That money was intended as a trust for her kids, with you as trustee. You would violate your legal obligations as a trustee to use this money in a way other than how she set it up. You might want to check with an attorney or the bank to ensure that the trust is set up properly so he can't get to it. Also, be prepared he might try to challenge the trust or your care of it in court. This could be very bad, as money for such challenges comes out of the trust for both parties. So line up your ducks and don't back down. My friends and I can only get together once a month. Between different work schedules, some having kids and other commitments, it's hard to schedule. But we all do our best to be there because we're important to each other. It's the second Saturday of every month. We meet up at someone's house, have lunch, and talk about everything. Sometimes we go somewhere outside and sometimes we just stay in. It's very important to us. My girlfriend, we've been together for 9 months, live separately, said her mother's birthday dinner is on Saturday and we need to attend. I told her I wasn't available. She said I could give up my me time for her mom because moms are more important than friends. This isn't me time though. I need this time to maintain my friendships so we don't drift apart. I suggested we do something with her mom on her actual birthday, Sunday. She said that wouldn't work because her mom would be tired and need to get ready for work the next day and would find that disrespectful to celebrate her birthday on the Lord's Day. I said if she isn't even trying to compromise, neither am I. She thinks I'm being an idiot. Am I? Edit. Dinner's at 4:30 and a 2-hour drive away, and I have to come back home to get ready so we can drive over together. So I would have to be home by 2 a.m. I texted girlfriend to ask if we could skip church this week because my sister's coming to town. She said no, sister could come to church with us. I said my sister would be tired. She said the church is more important. I asked, so it's church, family, friends. She asked if this was about my friends, and I said yes. She told me it was childish to be so invested in childhood friendships. Not the idiot. You're only dating for 9 months. Ignore those who will try to tell you to ditch your friends. You are not the idiot. And that part where you asked to skip church has shown me. Girlfriend is the controlling type. Dump her. You must come to Mother's B-Day and ditch your friends. You must go to church. Yeah, no red flags here. Relationships are mostly about compromise, and skipping one gathering with friends would not be the ends of the world. But girlfriend is orders of magnitude worse than you in compromising. You've been together 9 months. Do not live together. This will be a formal dinner starting at 4:30 with a 4-hour drive there and back, sprung on you last minute, with no willingness to compromise if you're wanted there. Nope, no can do. You all have a great time. I'll see you when you get back. Remember that he's also expected to have his hair done to his mom's liking, and the girlfriend insists on driving together because it would be humiliating if they arrived separately. I can't imagine how stressful it must be to spend time with that family. I would be afraid they would have thrown me out of the house if my shoelaces became untied. Resolution. I broke up with her last night. I pointed out how her wants always come first and how much I've done to accommodate her family, but that I draw the line at cutting out my friends. She said my friends are holding me back from doing God's will, and it's better to spend time with her God-fearing family than with them. This hurt me deeply, and I said so. She said she wanted to save my soul, but I was done and broke up with her. She started crying and telling me the devil was influencing me. She called her bishop and wanted me to talk to him, but I said this was between us. She refused to leave for a while, but eventually got tired and went home to sleep. So it's all over. Growing up, I, 28 male, was really close with my neighbor Diane, 27 female. Diane was the product of an affair, and despite her parents divorcing their spouses and getting together before she was born, her home life was rocky. Diane lived with me, my little brother, and my single mom on the weekends, and by 5th grade, she had a room in our home. We all saw her as family. She was delighted as her only siblings were her half-siblings, who all hated her. When Diane started high school, one of her half-sisters, Amy, began forming a bond with her. Amy was only a year older than me, and we hit it off. We started dating in college, and things were going well. I've always wanted kids, and Amy always said she felt the same, until our last year of college. Amy got a positive pregnancy test and broke down. She told me that she lied about wanting kids, and that she'd hoped she'd warm up to the idea, or I'd change my mind, that she thought she'd be okay with it if it was for me, but now that she's pregnant, she knows for a fact that she never wants to be a mom. We argued. I told her that she'd known I'd wanted kids before she was even interested in me, and lied. Because of all the fighting and stress for finals, she lost it. I broke up with her soon after. It was hard because I loved her, but Diane was there for me. Then last year, Diane got pregnant, and the father wanted nothing to do with her or the baby. So having a single mom, I took her in and vowed to support her, and she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Early in the pregnancy, Diane found out she had cancer. It was a hard hit on all of us, and she started making a will and asked me to be the legal guardian of her child, should it come down to it. 7 months ago, Diane passed away, leaving her infant daughter in my care. She named her Josephine after my mother and didn't choose a middle name. So, after officially adopting her, I gave her Diane as a middle name. Amy came to me 2 days ago, saying that she waited until after the adoption process to ask me because she didn't want to stress me out, but I should let her also adopt Josephine because she's Diane's closest family member and that Josie needs a mother. And since I grew up in a single-parent household, I should know that better than anyone else. I told her that Diane left Josie in my care, and it's disrespectful to try and place herself as her niece's mother, not even a year after Diane's passing. Some of Diane's family are calling and telling me that I'm being thoughtless, that Josie needs a mother, and that I'm not family, so I don't know what I'm doing. It's all such a stressful time, and I haven't even had a moment to grieve properly, so I'm probably not in the right state of mind. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If her mother had wanted her to be with her sister, she would be. If she were so worried about her not having a mother, she would not have chosen a single male. This is what her mother wanted. So if they want to criticize anyone for supposed thoughtlessness, it'd be her, not you. She made a choice, but I'm sure they know how ridiculous that would be, so they go for the easier target. Amy didn't want a child when she had one. She didn't want this child all through her sister's pregnancy and what sounds like months until she was adopted. It sounds like a whim to me. When someone comes in so suddenly wanting such a big place in a child's life, they tend to make their exit just as suddenly. This baby has already lost one mother. There's no point giving her an almost sure thing about losing a second. Or the intentions could be worse. She wants a trial run at being a mom to decide if she wants to be a real mom someday or confirm her decisions to stay child-free. And she'd probably abandon Josie for her new real family. Do not let this woman who used you in the beginning and lied to you be part of the family. Do not let her adopt this child, as that gives her certain legal protections if she tries to take you to court and legally make you pay child support and other things. If you break up, then she can seek sole legal custody. Do not let her adopt with you. Do what your friend wanted. Don't you think there's a reason she didn't ask Amy? Diane left Josephine in your care for a reason. Whether her family agrees with it or not, it doesn't matter. For context, I, 39, got married to my wife, Nellie, 36 months ago. I must say that Nellie and my daughter, her stepdaughter, Megan, teen, never got along. They have lots of disagreements and nothing in common, and it was obvious from the first day that they met, but I didn't do anything about it, thinking they'd move past their differences and warm up to each other the longer they spent time together. I was wrong, because once we moved in together, the fights got worse. Nellie would complain about Megan throwing away stuff of hers just because she thought it didn't belong there. It's been basically a cat and mouse game, and I've lost track of who's right and who's wrong. I established some boundaries to bring peace to my home and had them agree that each stay in their own lane and not bother each other. Nellie said I was wrong to think what Megan was doing was okay, but I told her to let it slide. Nellie has a special type of hair care product for her sensitive hair. Shampoo, conditioner, etc., etc. She puts them in the bathroom, but Megan throws them away, saying Nellie has no right to store her products in the bathroom because it's not her house. So, to keep the peace, I asked Nellie to keep her stuff in the bedroom and take it with her whenever she wanted to shower, to which she agreed. Last night, Nellie took a shower and forgot her hair products in the bathroom, so Megan went there, and then the shampoo collection was gone. Nellie freaked out and then fought after Megan told her she dumped them out, saying she had already warned her about leaving her stuff lying in the bathroom. Nellie broke down, and when I said I chose to stay out of this because of how petty it was, she blew up at me. She yelled about how I kept letting Megan get away with a bad attitude and unjustified misbehavior. She told me to stop enabling her and start setting consequences for her actions. I told her she should have been more careful knowing how Megan is, so I feel this was preventable, but she said that she forgot her stuff there and didn't think Megan would go that far. We argued, and that was it. Megan is acting nonchalant despite me talking to her, and Nellie went to stay with her parents, saying I need to step up and do something. So, am I the idiot? You are the idiot here, absolutely. She's your child. You should be acting like a parent. So why would you act like they should work it out when it's your house and your child? Congrats, OP. You are a crappy husband and a crappy father. They're married, but it's not her home. He's okay, she said that? She has to live like she's in a dorm room? What's wrong with OP? This guy's letting his daughter go ape on his wife. God, I hope she leaves him. LOL, yes. You are the idiot. Control your child. It is your wife's house too, and she should certainly be able to leave her hair care in the bathroom all the time without fearing it'll be thrown away. It's unacceptable for your daughter to be touching anyone's things without their permission, and you are failing her by not establishing boundaries and consequences. You need to step up and be a parent. Start establishing and enforcing those boundaries. And for the love of God, apologize to your wife for not creating an environment where she feels safe. I mean, can this even be real? So OP is allowing his child to bully his wife, basically? Can he be any more of an idiot? Just wow. You're enabling and allowing your child to dominate the situation, act out, and get away with bad behavior. You're not just staying out of it, but running away from your responsibilities. Prepare to be a divorcee. My son, Teen, has had a boyfriend for 1.5 years now. It's always been pretty obvious. He'd always be touching our son, not inappropriately or anything. The boyfriend would sometimes greet our son with, "Hi, handsome." They would spend significant amounts of money on presents, and my son baked treats for him. Then they hung out all day and came home with bags full of Valentine's Day stuff. They kept accidentally falling asleep in the bed together and treated him nicer than his other friends, etc. Our son set us down, saying he had something important to tell us. This kid doesn't take anything seriously, so we got worried, thinking it was something bad. He just came out as gay. I laughed and said, "Duh," and my husband chuckled and went back to scrolling his phone. We thought he was joking as we felt he was already out. My son got upset about our reaction. Am I the idiot? You will have to apologize and explain why you reacted the way you did. Every kid has their official coming out story, and his is that you two laughed at him and then ignored the moment. You are the idiot. This was important to him and you two made it upsetting. Your son did one of the scariest things you can do as a queer person, and frankly, the one time he needed you to be serious, you weren't. He needed the reassurance that you and your husband still loved him and that his being gay didn't change anything. Yes, to you it was obvious, but to him it was still a secret. So sit down with him and have a heart-to-heart. Show him your support. Not the idiot. This is supposed to be the gold standard of coming out. I'm pan and never felt the need to come out because my family would accept me in my SO. So I've introduced who I introduce. It's always, "Hi, name, can you grab some chairs?" I don't get it. Many other LGBTQ+ told me they don't want their coming out to be a thing. Others want it to be a party. Maybe you should ask them how they thought it would pan out and how they want to go forward.